For joining us. My name's Zach, and I'm on our marketing team here at High Touch. This morning, we're going to talk about something that's really important going on right now, and that's cybersecurity and different types of social engineering attacks, how to recognize them, and what to do if you run across them. It's my pleasure to introduce our panel this morning. So we'll have Andrew Kahn, who's our Director of Professional Services, and then also Jason Fenolio, our Director of Information Systems, who are going to share their brains with you all. To keep everything engaging, we're going to have some polls throughout, so watch out for those, and then we'll wrap up with a Q&A. So as we go, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and then we'll make sure we'll get to them at the end. So with that, Andrew, I'm going to hand everything off to you.
Thanks, Zach. So good morning. My name is Andrew Kahn. I'm the Director of Professional Services with High Touch Technologies. I've been with High Touch for 5 years. Have a little history of me. I have a associate's degree with a cybersecurity background and a bachelor's in business IT management. Don't let my young appearance fool you. I do have over 20 years of IT experience, from retail sales to Geek Squad, even now to enterprise level management. I'm going to introduce you over to Jason, where he'll give a little about himself, and don't mind his white. I give that to him quite a bit every night when I click on links.
Thanks, Andrew. My name is Jason Fenolio. I'm the Director of Information Security for High Touch. I've been here for about 5.5 years. I as well have a background in IT for around 25 years. I've been in large enterprises all the way to small shops and then systems integrator shops. So I've touched it all. I have a master's in cybersecurity from Georgia Tech. Go Jackets. And I also work for them as well, and teaching security incident response. So let's go ahead and kick this off with a poll.
So what platforms does your organization rely on for daily communication? So your Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, Slack, you text message, you open the door, yell down the hall. We just want to get an idea of how you guys communicate as an organization.
I feel like I yell down the hall more than I use Teams sometimes.
We have to do that yelling right now with that construction.
Got up and running, seeing a few answers come in for you guys. So
All right.
I'm going to end that and share it so you can see it.
So it looks like we got quite a few that's Microsoft Teams, SMS text, and some that don't have one. Okay. Thank you for that.
So I'd like to go over, this is our 2025 email threat summary. So this is a sum of all of our client emails and High Touch as well. And as you can see, over the 11.5 million emails that have been received, only 53%, a little over half, were considered legitimate. And that's what neutral means. So everything else was either considered dangerous, spam, or malware. There's probably a little bit in there too that is gray mail, where it's solicitation from companies trying to sell you something. Those, we can actually segment those out so you don't actually see those. You can only look at those folders if you want to. But you can tell that the 100,000 of those were considered dangerous right out of the gate. You don't even see those within our system. And 23 out of 2,300 of them that were reported, 765 of them actually had malware attachments within them. We actually get those in our ticketing system as well. So we have a ADR AV that scrubs those. We can actually see alerts from people sending us malware attachments directly to our system. So those get blocked as well. But you can just tell that even concerning emails being forwarded along can just pass malware where you don't want it to. And another tidbit, I'm the top person on the list across all of our clients and High Touch. Being a security leader, it's very easy to be targeted. And then Andrew is up there as well. So congratulations, Andrew.
Told you I keep them up at night. So what is social engineering? Social engineering, it's the art of manipulation. I mean, what people are trying to do is to gain access, get information. They're going to utilize things that they find out, research about you to kind of get you to open your guards or anyone to open their guards, and allow them to get the information they're looking for. If you've seen YouTube videos where guys on the street started asking, like, "Oh, what's your dog's name? What's what's your favorite color?" and things like that. What's your birth date? They're asking those questions to kind of figure out what could your passwords be, uh, or what your recovery password is, and things like that. So they're asking you key relevant questions that you may not think of as, oh, they're just trying to be nice and ask me questions. No, they're really trying to get information for you so they can start getting into your systems. A short recently that I watched, Kathy Bates as the new Matlock. She's doing her research inside a coffee shop because she has a target that has information that she's trying to utilize to gain her a job at a law firm. And when she's done there, she takes her coffee that he's paid for, goes to the building, and acts like her hands are full, and someone badges her into the first security checkpoint. Now she's through this first security checkpoint because, people are trying to be nice. They see her hands full and they badge her in. The next portion is this security elevator. Someone badges and gets her to the floor by her playing on handing them candy, acting like, oh, once you reach to an age of grandparent age, you always carry these, right? And that person just plays on that. It's like, yeah, my grandma used to give me these all the time too. And then once she gets to the floor that she needs to get to, she's act like she's on the phone, just tells the receptionist, "Hey, can you buzz me in?" And the receptionist just buzzes her in, not thinking that, this isn't a person I don't know who it is, but they know my name. They're confident. I should let them in. So it doesn't take much. I mean, we're humans, we're wired to trust, but just knowing those scenarios of how people are utilizing social engineering tactics, it's all about manipulation. It's all about looking at and unfortunately going through what people's good graces are, to let their guards down and try to get in. So that's a part of what social engineering is, just manipulating and working towards your good graces to get information they're looking for, either information of your access, your credentials, or even just information to utilize you as a weapon, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to show my age here, but I think of Matlock, I think of Andy Griffith, but I feel like Andy could have gotten up the escalator over Kathy a little bit easier too, that Southern charm. Just to follow up with that, recently, uh, nation state actors from North Korea were even able to land jobs within large organizations within the US, and they were able to take calls with those employees or those clients of that organization and be able to gain intel or redirect cash back to North Korea. So the stakes are much higher when you're talking about social engineering. They're gaining access and even jobs with major U.S. firms. So it's definitely something to really think about.
And they're utilizing different tactics, especially with AI and everything like that, to make it look like they are here, make them even look like probably the person that applied for the job. I mean, remote work has made it really easy for people not have to sit there and truly validate or like the physical person aspect, right? Because you're hiring people from anywhere. So it just makes it easier for those nation states to get compromised like that.
Yeah. So while we're discussing that, let's talk about some scams that happen on a regular basis. And you know, it's basically the same scams, but they're geared more towards holiday. So we're in the holiday season. You're going to see a lot more geared towards that direction. Fake package alerts are huge right now. Receiving emails or SMS stating that you've got a package, but you have to pay the fee to have it delivered. The victim may not even realize that they're getting sent something, so they're like, "Oh, of course, I'll go and pay the fee." With There's also a another delivery scam where even accepting the delivery for the package can invoke some sort of payment back to a scammer, um, charging you an invoice for that package. So just accepting it could cause a major financial issue with you. Uh, SMS requests from impersonated employees. This happens a lot during holidays. People look at LinkedIn and they'll look for new employees being hired to a company and often attack that person. They'll state that they're some C-level within the company and say, "Hey, we're going to do a holiday party. I know you're new, you're not started up yet, so I figured you could do this for me real quick. Could you go buy, five $100 gift cards so we can have them for the party?" We've actually had that happen internally years ago, where our old CEO had, or air quotes, our old CEO had messaged somebody that was new, and they did go out to Best Buy and try to buy cards, and luckily we were able to stop that. So it's a very common tactic. Invoice scans. I get this on a regular basis in my email. I get a PayPal notification to my PayPal account. It is PayPal, it is my account, but it's an invoice stating that I've agreed to like 1 year of McAfee or some other subscription service, and if I don't call in, I will be charged this amount. But the note at the bottom has a phone number that is not associated with PayPal. And they'll try to arrange payment directly to them. They'll still say they're PayPal, but that phone number has nothing to do with PayPal. So it looks legitimate. I mean, it is a PayPal invoice, but it's not directly through PayPal as far as the invoicing charge. And charity scams, they're huge. They're pulling on your heartstrings. They may mimic legitimate nonprofits in the area. But if you don't look closely, the links for donations or the sender may not have the correct domain name in there. These are things that you should look for, the red flags that you should look for in the note. They will definitely not match up with the charity that they're saying that they're from. So there's a little bit of due diligence you could do to check and verify before you give out any money or any sort of information. It's the same fundamentals across the board, even in the holiday season.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, even with the gift cards right now, I mean, if you guys have been to a restaurant lately, like Texas Roadhouse or anything like that, they're doing promos where you buy X amount of gift cards, you get $10, $20 back free if you buy gift cards, because they're trying to utilize that for you guys to buy gift cards for, as gifts to give out as gifts and things like that. But scammers and stuff like that know that. So they could send emails acting like they're Texas Roadhouse, they're Chick-fil-A or somewhere that sells gift cards and say, hey, buy these gift cards for this promotion. They want to utilize that kind of scam and aspect to click on the link and then provide payment information. So those are kind of the things around this holiday that start to become more visible because that's what they're utilizing to get through to you to say, hey, ooh, I need to buy a gift. Here's a good gift I can buy for someone that's out there that's real, even though it's real, where it's coming from isn't real.
Everybody likes those Texas Roadhouse rolls.
Yep.
They're amazing.
All right. Next poll we have, which scams have you seen recently? So you should have a poll now. So fake package delivery alerts, password account reset scams, IT support messaging you, coupon scams, like we brought up fake Texas Roadhouse coupons, bank or payment verification, or the biggest one that I remember getting texts and emails around was the toll payment scam through KTag and things like that. So
Seeing quite a few come through. Give another second. Alrighty, share that with you guys.
all right, looks like we got a good mix. No one's seen the Texas Roadhouse one. I guess it was just me. I just eat there too much, I guess.
It's pretty prominent on Facebook too. The toll payment scam was a pretty good one.
Yep. Awesome.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. So as we talked earlier, AI supercharges social engineering. Like I said, how that happens is AI is basically has a large learning language module, and what that does is basically allows it to start getting information that you feed it to learn. So one of the things like, messages look too perfect. AI will go through, look at the message and clean it up for you. So there's no more spelling errors that we most commonly see or language barrier challenges if it's coming from a different country or something like that. They fixed all that grammatical errors so that way they could pass it through our systems and things like that. Voices can be cloned. Like I said, I've gotten phone calls where, people are trying to get me to say certain things because they want me to say, yes, I agree, so they can utilize my voice to call my bank and get into my account. Um, Personalization, that's the biggest thing. I mean, everyone has some type of social media out there, Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever there is. But people are looking up your name and looking to see what you're posting out there, even from a LinkedIn perspective. They're getting all the publicly available information to utilize that as fuel to target whoever they need to target. So, like I said earlier, I was utilized as a target attack because I post on LinkedIn about things that we do as a company, things I do personally. My boys are in Boy Scouts. They could utilize that information to target from those scenarios too. But they're looking at what you're sending out there and then also who is interacting with that because they want to see who you interact with. It could be a large company, it could be a small company, but then they can utilize that information to start attacking those companies and use you in that attack. And again, just be careful if you do get phone calls, like Jason recommended, send those voicemail if you don't know. I know in some cases where you're business, you have to accept calls that you don't know because that's the nature of your business. But again, it's okay to answer it, but ask questions back. Don't just say one-line answers because that's what they're looking to record.
If it's important, they'll call you back
And if they really
or
want you to
leave a
buy something,
message.
keep on calling you daily.
Yes. So, we're all smart people. It's very easy to be manipulated into clicking something that you didn't want. I've had many high levels, many security people in the industry actually admit that, hey, I finally did it. I clicked on something. I didn't take the time. I was too fast going through my emails, and I clicked on something I shouldn't have. But our brains are wired to trust. We are ones that we reward ourselves and in being agreeable and being open. Some of us see it as a moral obligation to be trusting to strangers, give them the benefit of the doubt. But especially in whenever you're protecting information, if you're in charge of the money, if you're in charge of proprietary information within your organization, it's always good to verify. Be polite but cautious is the best policy here. Um, Confidence can get you everywhere. It's a con is a confidence scam. It's something where they go in there and they act like they've been there before. Uh, I've seen videos where if you give somebody a hard hat and a ladder, they'll give you the keys to the kingdom. They'll even hold the door open for you. It's good to create a policy within the organization to make it easy for employees to verify if someone's allowed to restricted areas. And it doesn't hurt to tell people to stop, put the ladder down. I know it's heavy, but we need to check you in first. And then, like Andrew said earlier, AI has made it very easy to fingerprint an individual, especially within like cloud applications. If you gain access, if an attacker gains access to someone's mailbox, the AI can scan that entire mailbox within seconds. They can also build an LLM based on that person's mailbox and determine how that person speaks or writes. So at some point, they can create rules where certain correspondence move to folders that they don't pay attention to, like the conversation history folder. Nobody looks at that. Um, they may actually create a folder that looks similar to the others and put that correspondence in there. But what they're doing is actually speaking to clients or someone in HR or someone in accounting to change routing numbers, changing invoicing numbers. Hey, our bank has changed. Can you change it to this address? And then a client sends a check to the attacker rather than to the legitimate source. So it's all things you have to be careful about. It's fundamentals of making sure that you verify on each click and you verify access is actually allowed to be given.
Now you're gonna make me go outside where the construction was taking pictures of them to make sure that they try getting here. I know that, hey, if they're working construction, it's not somebody
Yeah.
else. So common manipulation tactics. Like I said earlier, people can pose as vendors, the people can pose as somebody that you work with, that because they're looking at, social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, or anything like that. But they're also going to try to offer you some nice offers or downloads. Like, if you do this for us, we'll do this for you. But really, they're trying to get you to, like I said, lower to your defenses to get information from you so they could utilize that in their attack. One of the things that we also see quite a bit, I go to a restaurant that's just up the street from our office, and they are inside of a bank. And they have kind of like a man in the middle trap inside that area to where you have to be badged in to get to the secured elevators. And sitting down there as security people, we notice quite a few different things. We watch employees, not only of the bank, but of the other tenants walk in, they badge, and a lot of times they hold doors open and they let somebody in that shouldn't be there, like DoorDash delivery and things like that, because they see food. They think that either one, they're working or delivering food there, and they let them through. The good thing they have security there because the security notices that they come up right up and they question the person that kind of tailgated in through that security. And they find out, what are you here for? What's your purpose? And they'll put them through the ringer. And if they're not giving legitimate information, they walk them through back out the door and make them go around the long way and put the food on the cart that they're supposed to, because they should have been given that information of where to drop off food and so on. So those are things that, it's all manipulation, and they're just trying to find easy way in, and they're looking for easy targets or people that just don't pay attention. Because if you're on the phone trying to badge in, or you're doing something but your focus isn't 100% there, they're going to prey on that. And that's what they're wired to do, just like we're wired to trust. So one click. We try to make this prevalent to any of our conversations with not only our clients or people that we're trying to educate. It really just takes one click for something to happen. And what that could happen is an employee clicks on a link, it could redirect them somewhere, or it could even install a payload, or it installs a keylogger that you're not aware of. And if you're not familiar with what keyloggers are basically something that will log every single keystroke someone types into their keyboard. Now, when you log those keystrokes, you're logging, potential websites you're visiting, the username that you're putting in, passwords you're putting in, anything like that, that basically that keylogger is looking for. And especially with the help of AI now, they could take that dump and load into AI and say, AI, give me what look like websites, usernames, and passwords, or password combinations. And now they can utilize that quicker to get into whatever they're trying to find. So if you log into your bank, you're typing your password, you're typing your username, you don't have 2FA enabled through your bank because your bank's behind or anything like that. They essentially have their ways into your financial data, any records they're looking for, or even your computer to be able to steal information off your computer. There's even certain commands that they can run on computers that don't require elevated information. And that information could give them not only your public IP address of where you're located, but also the internal network's IP address. And when they have that internal network IP address, they can start utilizing that to start scanning across your network and figure out where else can they go inside your network. That's what a lot of times we hear or call lateral movement. They're looking for other potential holes or weak defenses so they can get further into the environment. So biggest thing that we want to make sure that everyone's aware is like, yes, all it takes is one click. If you do click something, don't be afraid to share it, because the quicker you can share that information, the quicker IT managers, IT directors, IT staff can stop that from spreading. And that's the biggest thing that we want people to do is alert on those, because if they fail to alert or they don't alert at all or they're slow to alert, it will cost you more and time to get it all resolved and cleaned up.
And I'd like to add to that real quick. As far as the one click, the most common attack here is a prompt to go into a Google account or a Microsoft 365 account. Typically, it comes in through like a PDF, where if you want to see the PDF, you need to validate your authentication, which is a legitimate ask for a lot of situations. Whenever something is private, usually the attacker will allow you to put your username and password. They collect the password at that point, and then even with MFA, the user will get a MFA prompt and click accept because it does look legitimate. Well, at that point, they can use a token hijack and replay that token for however long the token lives. Most people have tokens live for 30 days, just because they don't want people to have to MFA every single time they need to do an action. It's very common, and I believe it's a default in some SaaS providers. So at that point, if you have a token, you can have those AI tools go in there and look through mailboxes, look through anything that that person has access to as far as files. So it is it's pretty crazy how fast this can occur, and it all stems from one click.
Yep. So we know this is a little bit scary of information, but again, we want to make sure that you're educating employees that please speak up when something happens, because if they don't, it's going to take longer to resolve and clean up if they don't. How to defend against social engineering. So we're going to have another poll here, and the poll is pretty much going to ask, what kind of cybersecurity training have you received at your organization? Do you guys actually have security awareness training? Does it just do phishing simulation? Or do you guys make it a purpose of talking about security? Because one of the things, if you've watched a couple of our other webinars, we bring up, like when we do our town halls, we have this topic called security first. We're always trying to make sure we educate about the common security threats out there right now, or that people may not be aware of.
All right, I'm gonna get those results over to you all. Share them here.
All right, we got a good mix of everything. All right, the none are not sure. You definitely should have a meeting with us later.
Yeah, so just from those results, I personally feel that security awareness training is the top tier. It's something that you should be providing to your organization no matter what. And it doesn't need to be it shouldn't be a check the box type function. I need to get my cyber insurance, so I better have security awareness training. It does need to be engaging. So, the one security awareness training that we use, I I chose it because it is cheesy. It is very silly, but it delivers the point and people remember it. So if you just have somebody go through just text, reading something, and then they're having a quiz later, then you're doing yourself a huge injustice. There was a recent study at the UC San Diego Health that showed that SAT wasn't effective. People clicked anyway. But it's likely due to this boring SaaS solution that they've had. And there are plenty of them out there. There are quite a few that I have turned down because it's really not going to teach anybody anything. Um, so, your security team should be providing engaging content and dialogue with the enterprise. And there should be some sort of communication monthly, either through meetings like we do with our town halls, or some other communication like a blog. I know Zach provides cybersecurity information through our website. That's a weekly blog you can sign up for, and you can definitely use that to You can piggyback on that with your organization, and it's great stuff. It's great material. I thank Zach for being able to find that information and be able to provide it to our clients that sign up for it. Phishing simulations help, and not just phishing on email. And we're talking about SMS, conducting physical breaches, acting like Matlock, trying to get into the system, into the building. Those things need to take place. In a previous life, we did that. We just walked into organizations and showed or presented later on how far we could get. And a lot of times it was pretty shocking how far we could get. So it's good to have those type of tests, not just logical with your technology, but physically as well, testing your people. And then you should also have tabletop scenarios, at least annually, so where you can simulate some sort of cyber event. If all of our servers were ransomware, let's figure out who we need to call. Everything is down. We don't have email as communication. Do we have other types of communication that we could use to work within our team? Who would we use to communicate with the media if we need to? So it's good to have all that written out in an incident response plan. And typically, running those tabletop simulations give you the best information on how to make a complete incident response plan. Verification is very, very important. It does stop impersonation. Always reach out to someone that you've received a message from out of band from the methods you received it on, if you don't think it's legitimate. If you've received a text from your colleague and it sounds fishy, you should know his phone number, or you should know someone else that can get a hold of that person to make sure it's real. Don't if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. So reach out and contact that person. And reporting things as they happen, that's so important. It's important not to chastise people who have caused an incident. It's always an opportunity for lessons learned. And then you encourage them to be part of the security team at that point. Adopting that security team culture with the organization, making everybody a part of the team is very important in your enterprise. And if somebody were to get through from that person, a mature organization is going to have several layers in case that happens, which leads us to our next slide. So here are some of the other layers that we provide, and I feel like everybody should have. This is some of the minimal protections you should have in your environment. So EDRs, endpoint detection and response tools, they're the next gen AV. They will look for known behaviors and also unknown. So they'll see all the viruses that have already been reported. But if it sees something that is acting out of the ordinary, like trying to gain access to critical systems, they'll report that. They'll stop the activity and report a security operations center team into alerting on that activity. So at least there's something there to block it, to verify. That's a key word again, verify again. If this is supposed to occur. Email for health filtering. I mean, you saw how much we've blocked. Email filtering, this day of age, you have to have it. You will get malicious email upon the millions sent to you, especially as your business grows and becomes more prominent in your communities. The principle of less or least privilege. Access control limits impact, of course. It's you don't need to have access to everything at all times. There are a lot of things that I'm administrator of, but I don't need it all the time. There are tools such as privilege identity management, where I have the administrative capabilities, but I have to go in and activate it. And whenever I activate those administration controls, it alerts all the other administrators. So if they get an email at 3 a.m., they're probably going to call me up and verify if that's me or not, um, which has occurred in the IT industry. We're up 24/7 anyway. MFA, you have to turn it on. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I know it's a pain. If you have anything on the internet, you must have MFA turned on. There are several MFA methods that are better than others, but you need to have it on. It's not to say that it isn't vulnerable. I just spoke about token hijacking. Um, that is a training issue. Um, it's easy to go through and train your team to not respond to an MFA prompt if they didn't solicit it. So if they see one out of the blue, you want to hit deny on that. And if your Outlook doesn't connect anymore, then yeah, that was probably you. But otherwise, you want to make sure you decline any sort of MFA that you didn't specifically ask for. And then lastly, a SIM, which is a security and information security, information, and event management. Basically, what that's doing is it's collecting all of the event logs from every computer in the organization. Um, that may seem like a lot, but on the back end, it's all correlated in the background, so it can determine if someone is doing something, they're living off the land. If somebody has actually got into your environment, they could do a lot of harm or gain a lot of intelligence for days, weeks, even years before they even trigger an alert on an EDR. So it is important to have a SIM to get that full view that lets you look at your environment with both eyes open. Um, they can be able, the SIM is allowed to go through and see when events are coming in, and a SOC team can actually correlate when events are occurring that may seem out of the ordinary. So it's a very a vital tool and an important layer within every organization.
And you might be considering like, well, don't we have logging turned on a lot of our devices? In most cases, like, your firewall and things like that do have logging enabled, but the time that they keep it is a very short window. Some logs, because of the amount of hard drive space you have on those firewalls, can only hold a day, and then it has to erase it and then recapture logs.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think by default, Windows only collects 25 meg, and that data rolls out very quickly.
yep.
So you want to make sure that you open up all your logs if you have a SIM, but you're not going to be able to find any events after they've occurred. I guarantee they've already rolled out.
All right, so we know a lot of information has been gathered and provided to you, but out of everything, if you can train employees on are these four red flags. So you definitely don't want to ignore these, and above all else, train your employees around it. So unexpected contacts. One of the polls we asked, what is your communication methods? Teams, Google Meet, text messages, things like that. If someone that you don't know is trying to message you in one of those platforms, deny it. Don't respond to it. Don't ask, what they're trying to do, because if you respond to them, they've basically identified you as a person they can start targeting. They'll start looking at your information and figure out how to get you to lower your defenses. So unexpected contact, red flag, teach people, educate your team on what those requests will start looking like, how they're coming in, and just make sure people are aware of what to look out for. Unusual request. So Jason just brought this up about MFA. MFA it's a layer of security. It's not, an end all be all security tool. You want to make sure that it's turned on everything that you have capability of turning it on to. But like you said, if you get a prompt to approve MFA and you're working on your computer and you're not even asking for a password, typing a password somewhere, deny that automatically. And if it happens again and you're seeing it more often, then alert your IT people so they can be aware that, hey, your credentials might have been compromised. That way they can look through and get you squared away. But deny, deny, deny. Do not approve if you are not asking for it, or you're not prompting, or you're putting your password somewhere.
Yeah, if you're getting MFA prompts, they already have your password.
Yep. Pressure tactics. From an IT standpoint, we're not going to call you and say anything's that urgent unless you're probably working in a hospital. But most of the things that we go out for, we're trying to help you resolve whatever issue you have or what we see. We're not going to go in there and saying, hey, I need access to your computer right now because I need to fix something. If you don't let me in there to fix it, the whole system's going to go down or crash. We won't message, IT people won't message out that way, make it that urgent. If we really need to get into your system, we'll reset your password and get into your system because we have those kind of keys and controls. If someone from the outside is trying to use those pressure tactics to, you know, make it feel more important than it actually is, they're more than likely targeting you or your employee or anything like that. So have them be aware of kind of those keywords and how they have to act. We're not going to make you act directly right now. Like I said, if we need into your system, we'll get in. And if we need to reset your password, we'll reset your password and then we'll notify you, hey, we had to work on this. We reset your password. We'll get you reset up, but we'll work through those processes to get you back up and running. And everywhere else, just make sure employees and you trust your gut. Stop and verify. If you stop and verify, you're going to stop a lot of the attacks. You're going to stop, you're going to make the threat actors start realizing that you guys are security conscious, you're security minded. They're going to less likely to want to target you because you've stopped a lot of their defenses and they feel like they're going to start wasting their time and effort on your organization. They're going to start looking out elsewhere. But ultimately, just stop and verify. Trust your gut. Most of the time, your gut's going to be right. Like, hey, this is too good to be true. It is too good to be true. So, but if you can take anything away, these are the 4 things that, are easy, trainable, and if something happens, easy to bounce back from. Then a little bit about high touch technologies. So we have over 40 years as a trusted technology partner. We started it off as software development, run into managed services, really getting into advanced cybersecurity, and just wanting to make sure that we educate and provide security to our partners and our clients. Like I said, IT is always ever evolving, technology is always ever evolving. There's a lot to learn, and not one person can learn everything about it. That's why there's a team. So overall, we're here to help. We want to be able to help you manage your day to day. And we also want to be able to support your IT staff because out of everyone that probably works the hardest, IT staff, they're behind the scenes trying to keep everything running. And not many people are aware of that. And I know if you have a help desk perspective too, people, when they call the help desk, they feel like, I got to call help desk and fix this and stuff like that. It's like a lot of times it's just they need help and we want to be there to be able to help them. All right. And then as we went through a lot of things, if you want more information, we're going to pop up a poll. Just if you want to set up a meeting, we can get a meeting set up with you to go more one-on-one on things that, you feel are concerning. And then if questions, like I said, we'll keep this open for questions. If you have questions you want to put in the chat, or if you want to unmute and ask a question, we'll be glad to answer for you.
I'll get the poll going, and once this wraps up, I'll give it over, Andrew, to you and Jason.
Okay.
Flip over. Not seeing any questions in the chat so far, so good to go there.
Don't be shy. Says no silly questions here.
Well, overall, we hope that this was informative, just giving you an idea of what's out there and trying to protect your employees, not only from your business perspective, but them at home, right? One of the things I teach my boys every now and then, because like we're big Pokemon Go hunters right now, because they got into it and then I got back into it since they're older now. But my son came to me, he's like, ooh, the site is offering free coins. We go through and look at it. I'm like, yeah, that's not the legitimate link. That's telling us to get a good GitHub. So they're trying to get information or steal our credit card. He was like, what? So he was super bummed about getting free Pokemon Go coins so he can start doing some purchases. Yes, we actually have this recorded as well, so it will be posted on our YouTube. But yeah, Emily, I can get you the slides. You're welcome. And if you guys go through, like the presentation, wanted more of a one-on-one conversation with employees for us to kind of educate or speak to them, we'd be happy to do that as well. Was there another question, Emily? There we go. So the blog, we have is it a monthly newsletter, right, Zach, that goes
Yeah,
out?
it's bi-weekly. I can get that information over as well. Actually, I can pull it up right now. I can get you the sign up link and drop it in the chat here, as long as my computer screen doesn't take over the screen that we're sharing.
I think you post that on LinkedIn as well, but you can get that through email.
Yeah, so we post out a biweekly newsletter, kind of giving you an idea of what's going out there, certain trends, topics, or even IT trends, IT purchases that are big out there. But you should have that newsletter link right there. Yeah, so if you guys are holiday shopping, thinking about buying gift cards or anything like that, make sure you don't click the link from your email. More likely, go directly to the website, because you're going to be able to get it straight from the source better that way. And then it's a secure, safe link because you're going directly to the website. Don't Google, because a lot of times if you Google, people can pay to put links at the top as a sponsored link. So be careful of the sponsored links, because those could also be non-legitimate links. So just be aware of that as well from a holiday perspective. You'll want to make sure that it's the correct URL. So if you go to Kohl's.com, make sure it's Kohl's.com, not Kohl, Kohl, because it could be a redirected link. I mean, they're very savvy. They'll utilize any way they can to get people to mistype something to get directed to their link. But those are things that we do see and we want you to be aware of, is if you Google something and you're not sure the name, the sponsored links could provide redirections to a non-legitimate website.
That goes for programs as well. I've seen that similar situations for Firefox or IT tools. There will be a link right above the actual download site that basically it's malware. So yeah, you have to do your due diligence whenever you're searching for downloadable tools.
All right, I don't see any other questions.
Oh, we're probably good to wrap things up.
Thank you everyone for joining and being through this webinar presentation. After we go through and collect who's been on and everything like that, we will get the gift card out to the winner. Again, appreciate you guys being on the webinar, learning, educating yourselves, and keeping yourselves protected as well as your family and friends.
And stay tuned for future webinars. Try to do them monthly.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.